Okay folks, welcome back. This is your old pal Hondo doing another video for you. We're going to be doing another cleaning video on another spin casting reel, which is my venerable RT series, same as the 202 modern reel. I think they made these like I think 2006, 7, something like that, along that line. It's a really old reel. It still works, but we're gonna do a little servicing to it. Okay, folks, this is the RT series reel right here. It's gonna take apart just like a 202. First thing you want to do with the RT series reel is to put it on the loosest setting on the drag, which it's already set. Tight that way, loose this way. Once you do that, you take the front cover off. And once you take the front cover off, tools you'll need for this is a size 10 wrench, maybe a screwdriver. I think this wrench will fit. Yes, it will. We'll take that off here in a second, but first thing you want to do is take off the spinner cone. And as you can see in the spinner cone, it is completely filthy. Right here in the front, the grease is old, but it's still functional. But we're going to take the pin off here, and first we're going to wipe some of this grease off of here so we can see the pin. This thing was clogged with grease. I ain't never seen so much grease on a reel in my whole life. Take a roll pin punch and remove the pin. Should come right out like so. Comes out. This has this irritating lip in here, so it's going to be hard to remove this without losing it. And just pull it under there. We get rid of the pin. We'll pull the spool off. There's a little washer and a red piece of drag washer on top of it right there that goes back on top. Move that out of the way. Take the spool. We'll wipe all the excess caked on grease out of this thing. We'll re-lube it later. We're not going to wash the spool. We're just going to take this rag and get all the old grease off of it and re-grease it and throw it back on. That's how you clean it. You just want to take the old grease off of it and clean out the center of that spool there, and that should be good enough, and we'll just re-grease that when we need to. Right here is the drag. It's just like a modern 202. You pull the washers out of the reel. There's two washers, the drag washer and drag washer right here, and a small little round washer. Let's see if I can get this out. It's stuck like Chuck. I've never seen one get stuck this bad in my life on here. It just shows you how old the grease is on it. And it should just come off. Yeah, there it goes. You just gotta jimmy it off. Right here, the little screw here. You put a small screwdriver in there like so, and push it the opposite way, and the pin should just fly out of there as well. Should just fly right out. Once you get it to that point, you just hold on to it until it comes out all the way. You have to do this to sink it, the drag knob out. Right here's a little drag screw, and it sinks that washer out of the way. You can just basically pull the frame of the reel out of the once you get this off of here. You pull the handle off as well. You don't need to, but we're going to do it anyways. Pull that off. Once you get it loose enough to pull off by hand, you can do that as well. Pull that off by hand, put it in a bowl, pull the handle off, take a rag and just wipe all the excess caked on grease off of this thing. Also too, you want to clean this out with a rag. Clean it out with a rag really good. Clean out the threads with this nasty old rag. It just cleans all the excess dirt, which the dirt can impede the action of the reel. So just by cleaning it out with a rag, if there's any dirt in there, because this collects a lot of dirt in there, so that should be good enough. Just clean the outside of it, and that should be good enough. Spinner cone, we're going to give it a bath, and this don't want to come out. What you can always do is take a screwdriver and just try to pop this out somehow. Pops right out of the frame there. Pop it out. Now these gears are like the modern ones. You know, you're not going to be able to take these gears out at all because they're permanently fixed. But the grease on this doesn't look terribly too bad, but it looks like it's on the verge of clotting, so we're going to take that off, clean it. Okay, we got the reel in the bath here. We're going to spray it down with some WD-40 here. Some WD-40 on the inside of the spinner cone here. Inside of this reel here, on the gears itself. Well, that's empty. We gotta use another one right here. This helps the gears clean up nice. Okay, the body, center body of the reel. Okay, that is good enough right there. We're going to start using the toothbrush to clean out the housing here. Okay, now we're done cleaning all the parts. Now we're just going to take a rag and wipe all the excess oil and grease out of this. You only needed a toothbrush. It needed a light servicing, but it still needed a servicing nonetheless. And we're going to wipe out the outside of the reel here as well to get the excess WD-40 off of it. Stupid button fell out, but that's okay. We'll just replace it. And clean around the threads of the reel itself, and just clean all the excess WD-40 off of this reel. And that should be good with that. Get the trigger here, or the button, push button here, and just wipe all the excess junk out of it. Any dirt that's left over from the cleaning process will be wiped out with a rag here. Like I said, we got pretty much everything wiped down. Get the body. Okay, now we're going to put some re-grease this reel and put it back together again. You're going to need some bearing grease for the gears. And I like putting Vaseline on the spinner head and the little spinner gear, pickup pin mechanism as well. Now we're going to re-grease it. First we're going to re-grease the back gears here, and first we're going to put a little bit of oil on the handle piece here, just a little bit will do, until it runs down and floods into that gear, and behind this as well, and around the tip here, and around the gear and the wheel here, just give that added bit of oil before we grease it. Now we're going to open up this here grease with a screwdriver. And we're going to apply a little bit of grease on your finger. I know it's a little bit nasty, but you don't need much grease. You just need enough of this grease to get on the action here. You don't need a terrible amount. And you want that little pickup pin down there. And we'll get that little center gear down there as well. And you want to try to get it in there if you can. And that's probably all the grease we need right there. Just that little bit of grease keeps the gears from getting stripped down the road. That's all you need right there. Put a little bit of oil on it already. Now we're gonna put this back in the body of the reel first. We forgot to put the button back on the reel. Let's put the button back in. And we forgot to put the button back in it. I had to put the button back in because it fell out when I was trying to put it back together the first time. Just put the body back into the frame of the reel here. It's going to be a tight fit, but it goes back in. Replace the drag knob with that, like that, and Make sure you see the little hole there, right there, and then you take the screw, the little screw end right here, make sure it goes through the hole, and then you loosen it up all the way, and it should start going back in there until it goes loose all the way until it stops. Then you need to take a screwdriver on it, and you know it'll stop right there, and the drag knob is replaced. Now we're going to put the handle back on it. We're going to put the handle right here, put the handle back on the reel like so, and put the nut that goes back onto the handle, and then retighten it up by hand until you get it to a point, and then you can hold the handle like that and use this wrench to wrench it on tight, and it's tight, and the handle seems to work again. Stops. We got the grease on the back gears. Now we're gonna grease the spinner head and all these little washers that go back on here for the drag, and the spool here, the spinner here. We're gonna use some Vaseline on this little spinner spot right here. Just put that in there like that, and work it in there in that action there. You don't want too much, you just want a little bit on there, and that's basically all you need. Take whatever excess lubrication you got on your hands, put it on the reel itself, on the washers. Just get some more of this stuff and just recoat everything with your hand here, and grab the other washer and just get it nice and greasy. Put that on top of there, and get this one nice and greasy as well. And we're going to put some of that grease on the center body of this reel. Just in that groove, there's like little grooves. Shove that grease in them grooves around the whole base of the reel and the inside as well. This helps lubricate the drag and everything. Okay, that's good enough. Okay, that is good enough. And now we're going to start reassembling the spool on here. We found the spool here, and we're going to put a little bit of lube on the spool as well, just a little bit on the bottom too as well, just so it has something to slide over there. And replace the drag washer back in there first like so, on top of the flathead screwdriver piece. It has to be set this way, and then you lay that right on top there like that. It should go into place, but yeah, it should be in there good enough. Put one steel washer on top of this one as well, and it should go on there, but it's a tight fit. And take the spool and shove it back on top of there, and put the washers back on top like so, with the plastic washer facing down. Then you take your clip here, and should go on there fairly easy, but you know, it's sometimes it don't. You know what? I'm gonna try these pliers. Sometimes this works. And there it goes. If you can't get it with a roll pin punch, you might as well use some pliers. Wipe off any excess grease you don't need. This stuff is really greasy. Your hands are greasy. Any of the leftover grease, you can wipe it off. And that's how you reassemble the spool. At this point, you want to check the spool, it's working. And the drag's working, I mean. It seems to be working. Yeah, it's working. It's not clicking, but it's working. Yeah, it's working. And now you just replace the spool, and after that point, when you get the spool on there, you just want to make sure that the spool works, the spinner works by clicking it, And there you go. Now that's clean. Replace the spinner cone back on, the protective cone, and screw it in tight. And there you go, folks. That's how you clean an RT Series 202. It took a little bit longer than I wanted to. Well, folks, if you like this video, please hit the like, share, and subscribe on the video. And tell me what you think. Leave a comment. And this has been your old pal Hondo from Hillbilly Tactile. Pal Andrew Hondo. Peace out, YouTube.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you love me, even if it's fake.